Hey there, fellow soil enthusiast. If you've been following along here at Grow with Soil, you know I'm absolutely obsessed with earthworms. These little underground engineers are the unsung heroes of our gardens, and I've spent years testing different methods to bring more of them into my beds. Today, I'm sharing something that completely changed my gardening game, a simple hack that attracts worms even more effectively than compost alone. I know what you're thinking. Compost is supposed to be the gold standard for worm attraction, right? And you're not wrong, compost is fantastic. But what I discovered through trial and error in my own garden plots has made my soil so alive with worms that my neighbor actually asked if I was buying them by the pound. Spoiler alert, I'm not. I'm just giving these magnificent creatures exactly what they crave most. Before we dive into the hack itself, let's talk about why you should care about worm populations in the first place. Earthworms are nature's tillers, aerators, and fertilizer factories all rolled into one. As they tunnel through your soil, they create channels that allow water, air, and roots to penetrate deeper. Their castings, which is a polite way of saying worm poop, contain 5 times more nitrogen, 7 times more phosphorus, and 11 times more potassium than the surrounding soil. When I started focusing on building my worm population, I noticed my plants became noticeably more vigorous, my soil stayed moist longer, and I needed far less supplemental fertilizer. Here it is, the hack that changed everything for me. Cardboard. Simple, brown, corrugated cardboard laid directly on your soil surface attracts worms like nothing else I've tried. Now, I can already hear some of you saying you've used cardboard for sheet mulching before, but stick with me because the way you use it makes all the difference. Worms are drawn to cardboard for several compelling reasons. First, it provides the perfect, dark, moist environment they absolutely love. Earthworms are photophobic, meaning light sends them scrambling for cover. Cardboard creates a protective shelter that blocks out light while retaining moisture underneath. Second, cardboard is made from wood pulp, which is essentially cellulose, a carbon-rich material that certain types of worms find incredibly appetizing. As the cardboard breaks down, it becomes a food source while simultaneously improving your soil structure. The technique is beautifully simple, but getting the details right makes all the difference. Start by selecting plain brown cardboard, without any glossy coatings, heavy inks, or plastic tape. I raid my recycling bin and local grocery stores, and those plain shipping boxes work perfectly. Remove all tape, labels, and staples because we want pure cardboard breaking down in our soil. Next, water your soil thoroughly before laying down the cardboard. This is crucial because you want to trap that moisture underneath. Worms need moist conditions to breathe through their skin, and starting with damp soil gives them an immediate reason to move into the area. Lay your cardboard pieces flat, overlapping them by at least 6 inches to prevent weeds from sneaking through the gaps. I usually cover an entire bed at once, but you can also create cardboard zones throughout your garden. Here's where my method differs from standard sheet mulching. Instead of piling compost or mulch on top immediately, I let the cardboard sit directly on the soil for about a week first, with just a light watering every couple of days. This creates a worm magnet zone. During this time, worms from the surrounding area will migrate toward this perfect habitat. I've lifted cardboard after just 5 days and found dozens of worms congregating underneath, many more than I'd see in my compost pile over the same time frame. Once you've established your cardboard layer and seen worms starting to gather, you can supercharge the effect by adding a thin layer of kitchen scraps directly onto the cardboard before covering everything with compost or mulch. I'm talking about coffee grounds, crushed eggshells, vegetable peels, and fruit scraps. Spread them thinly so they don't create a smelly anaerobic mess. Then top everything with 2 to 4 inches of compost, finished leaf mulch, or straw. This layering technique creates what I call a worm hotel buffet. The cardboard provides shelter, the kitchen scraps offer a diverse food source, and the top mulch layer regulates temperature and moisture. The worms move freely between these layers, processing organic matter and leaving behind their nutrient-rich castings throughout your soil profile. In my raised beds where I've used this method, I've measured earthworm populations that are 3 to 4 times higher than in beds where I only applied compost. The best time to lay down cardboard for worm attraction is during the cooler, moister parts of the year. In most climates, this means spring and fall. Worms are more active when soil temperatures range between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and they'll eagerly colonize your cardboard zones during these seasons. I typically refresh my cardboard layers twice a year, once in early spring and again in early fall. As the cardboard breaks down over several months, you'll notice it becoming thinner and more integrated into the soil. This is exactly what you want. The decomposition process itself attracts more worms while improving your soil structure. When the cardboard has mostly disappeared, usually after 4 to 6 months, simply add another layer and repeat the process. Each cycle leaves your soil richer, more alive, and more capable of supporting vigorous plant growth. Now, I'm not saying you should abandon compost. Far from it. Compost remains an essential part of healthy soil building. What I'm saying is that cardboard creates a more immediate and concentrated worm attraction than compost alone. Think of it this way. Compost feeds your soil ecosystem broadly, while cardboard creates specific worm habitats. Used together, they're unstoppable. In my garden, I use both methods in tandem, laying cardboard first to establish worm populations, then maintaining those populations with regular compost additions. After implementing this cardboard method across my garden beds at Grow with Soil, I've documented some pretty remarkable changes. Within the first month, visible worm populations under the cardboard increased dramatically. By the 3-month mark, I could dig almost anywhere in those beds and find worms within the first few inches of soil. My soil structure improved noticeably, becoming more crumbly and easier to work. Plant roots seemed to establish faster, and my vegetables showed darker, healthier foliage, without any additional fertilization. Perhaps most impressively, my soil's water retention improved significantly. The combination of worm tunnels creating macropores and the decomposing cardboard adding organic matter meant I could water less frequently even during hot summer months. My tomatoes, which are notoriously thirsty, thrived with about 30% less irrigation than in previous years. There you have it, the simple cardboard hack that's transformed my garden's worm population and overall soil health. It costs virtually nothing, requires minimal effort, and delivers results you can actually see and measure. Whether you're working with a small urban container garden or a sprawling backyard plot, this method scales beautifully to fit your space. If you found this information valuable, I'd love for you to subscribe to Grow with Soil for more practical, tested gardening techniques that actually work. Share this article with your gardening friends who are trying to build healthier soil, and drop a comment telling me about your experiences with earthworms in your garden. Together, we're growing more than plants. We're cultivating living, thriving soil ecosystems, one cardboard layer at a time. Happy growing.